Oh, Tom, have you set it up already?
No, not yet. I mean, like somebody was asking me, and I've been doing a lot of research on it, right? Because I'm behind the 8 ball with you, but I got my old Mac Mini. I'm going to clear my old Mac Mini out, install it on that, use Google Drive and Gmail Drive to give it access to the same files that are on my current computer. That way, I don't have to keep, I don't have to have it on my studio, my Mac Studio. I can have it on the Mini, but still has access to all the files. And then if it corrupts something, I ain't worried about it.
So I'm gonna have 3 laptops. After I got this one going, I got this one going. I got another one I'm about to set up. It's fucking amazing. I should
Everything
switch
I've been
another.
reading, like I have a hard time wrapping my brain around it, but it seems like this how it fits your actual day.
What do you wait, let me tell you before you even say anything. What do you have a hard time wrapping around? You literally talk to your Telegram bot, tell it to go build me this, figure out what tools you need to use, and it comes back and builds it for you. It's fucking that simple.
It's that simple?
Dude.
It's like vibe coding on fucking steroids.
Times 1,000.
So I can just say to it, does it say,
why do you think OpenAI offered the guy $1 billion?
Here's the thing that says, OpenClaw sends you a daily briefing, hot rolls, new leads that found overnight, and who you need to follow up today. Then during the day, you WhatsApp it a JD, and it returns a rank sheet plus first touch emails. And in the evening, you forward a LinkedIn profile from your phone with add to structural pipeline and draft outreach, and it updates your sheet and email to you on your home machine. Like, so that's like, just like, did you watch the video I did of the deep research?
Yeah. I actually talked to Jordan yesterday. We set that up on mine. I just want to test it, but I don't even think we need that anymore.
I want to know if I can do that deep research tool that with Firecrawl and Serpa using OpenClaw, right? Because that means it could just run and learn from me. Because I got to put all the parameters in and typing mine. But if the OpenClaw thing learns from me, I can just every day going, hey, do a deep research on this role, drop the JD in, and go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I got something even better for you than that.
It's impressive so far. All the stuff I've been reading, I'm like, this is fucking cool. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Right? So
wait till you see these new ones that I just found out about, and I've been playing around with, and I'm fucking sick.
Dom, are you showcasing in this what you were talking about the other day from the conference?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Oh, that part, that David, even that, like, see how fast things are changing from that. What was that, a week ago?
Yeah,
that's already changed. I don't even need that anymore. Yeah, we're in a whole new world. Let's put it that way.
It's how fast stuff is moving is blowing my mind. I can't even fucking keep up. Like that I did another test on that deep research for a structural engineering role. It found 6 people I didn't know existed.
Same.
That I wouldn't have been able to find. I was like, that's insane. And I'm an amazing sourcer for my own roles. I know where to find the people. It found 6 I like, and 3 of them I think will probably be interested. So it's kind of wild.
And we used it to source on something last week, Tom and I, after everything ended, and it did some cool stuff.
And like I spent like $3.50 using Claude, but I switched it over to GPT 5.0 Mini, and holy shit, it was like 40 cents. And it did a much better research too.
I went nuts on the first bot. It was just my test bot, right? I let it run Opus 4.6. Just let it go.
Ooh. How much did that cost you?
Not bad. I'm going to pull it up and show you. I see I don't have my bot on this computer, but hold on. Because I want to make sure that I'm safe on this one, because I got this one running wild over here. This one's going nuts. I'm giving $100 a day limit.
What
I'm literally going crazy on this one too.
What LLM are you using?
Opus 4.6, and then I layered it.
You're still using Opus 4.6 on that?
Well, I layered it Open Router. I put Kimmy in there, Moonshot. Brad's got me doing it. Brad's gonna jump on today too. He's got
because I have an API key for Open Router, but I only use the free ones now. But there's tons of paid ones in there too, and I can really test them and not worry about pricing.
Yeah.
But you got to also too, like one thing I did find out, and you probably know this, and for those who are listening, you can look at the models, and the models will tell you what it'll run, right? So there's certain parameters in each model, Like, for example, some of them won't run plugins. Some of them won't run deep research. Some of them won't cache. So when you're looking at the models, you have to make sure that it does prompt catching, system role, streaming, thinking mode, background mode, and web browser, right? Some of the models don't do all that. And that's where you'll run into not getting as good a research as you want. Like here, this is just 5 mini, for example. This is the one I've been using for the deep research. And if you look at the...
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Hold on. Right here, like, so you can see the price for 5 mini, right, is 25 cents, $2. And then plugins, vision, prompt catching, thinking mode, streaming, system, background mode. But if you look at some of the other ones, like 5 does all that, but it's $1.25. 10, 4.0 doesn't do thinking mode, so you couldn't use 4.0 for this, which is outdated anyway. And like 2.5 Pro doesn't have background mode, so you don't want to use that. And then I used 3. I did not get nearly as good of a. Which sonnet are you using? 4.6?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5 doesn't have background mode either, and that's what I used for the Vero Beach mechanical. And I don't know if that caused some of the issues. Let's see, 4.6. Where's Claude? 4.5, 4.6. Yeah, so 4.6 doesn't have background mode either, and it's 3.15. I would use any, if I was going to use them, they have to have background mode. At least that's what I've found out, at least with typing mine. I don't know, maybe it's different with OpenClaw.
OpenClaw. It's here, I'll show you what I spent.
Yeah, at 4.5 is 5.25, 4.1's 15.75. It's like, Jesus Christ.
It could get expensive, but if you use it right. I'm going to share mine. So this is that test when I used 18 million token.
What'd they charge you for 18 million?
It was $35 or something that day.
That sounds right. Yeah. And what were you using? 4.6?
Yeah, 31 for 4.6.
13 million input, output, and use 13. It's $5 per. Really? That's the good. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand this then, because it says that 4.6 is 5 output, 25 input.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was just letting it run.
Oh, you're using Sonnet. You weren't using Opus. You were using
Sonnet. Oh, here I'm using
Sonnet.
Opus. I layered in Sonnet over here.
Yeah, because Sonnet's 3.15. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Sonnet's cheaper. Way cheaper.
Yeah.
But look at this. So I go, what do you have for me today? Are you up? This is when I couldn't sleep, right? 4:33 a.m. Good morning, Dom. It's Sunday, February 15th, one day before launch, because we're plugging in HubSpot because AK wants it for content marketing and all that. Even though this is coming out, HubSpot setup guide done. Clay tables, 3 enrichment tables, scoring, everything done. NAM workflows done. MPC automation pipeline done. Locks of HubSpot integration, API tested with the 126 endpoints done. Content strategy. Oh shit! I got to switch my.
Manus has control of your computer, basically.
Dude, but yeah. There was a video. I'm gonna find it and send it to you guys. The way they explained it was perfect. It was like, yeah, you could go in Claude Coworker, but and it will do that task for whatever until it's done. This will keep working all day, every day, and create its own tools, its own software, whatever access you get. Here's another thing too. You got to be careful on what skills you allow, because I think they found 13 that had malware in them.
In the beginning. Be careful of that.
So, like this is my test bot. Like I was just testing this one out, and I'll give access to certain things, but I was mind blown. Companies go after
access to your LinkedIn recruiter.
No, I'm not giving it access to LinkedIn yet.
Okay.
No, I don't think I will, because
that's what Deep Research asked me. It said I can find LinkedIn URLs off Google, but I won't be able to verify them. Do you want to give me access to your LinkedIn? I was like, nope.
I think I'm gonna create a fake profile
That's
then
what I'm
just
wondering too, if I could give it access to my dog's profile.
yeah.
And that way it can at least look at the profiles. And if he gets banned, I don't care.
Move this over so you guys can see.
That's a good idea. I'm going to do that, Dom. That's a good idea. Next time I do that search, I'm going to say, yes, here's my LinkedIn URL or my LinkedIn login information. Have at it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Give him Anthony's.
Yeah. So in a second here, I'll switch over to the one that has the bot on it, and I'll show you what it created for me. I was like, hey, create me a content calendar and generate posts for me. And it's literally like a Notion or a ClickUp, right? It's fucking that good. And did it in 2 seconds.
You have N8N integrated in this and Clay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I have N8N return back at the enterprise level. We clone the GitHub repository, return it back true every time. So we're running free executions all day, every day. Like, how long will that last? I don't know. Brad will jump on here. He's more on that side. Is Brad on here?
Yeah, I'm on here now. Is cooldown all profiles. You overused your search capabilities on Anthropic.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah.
So can you set it up to go from Anthropic to ChatGPT to Gemini? That way, if that does happen, it just shoots another one. Because I see you have Moonshot on there too.
So Open API on there. Brad, what else did we install the other day on the other one? I can't remember the other one.
Which one? Sorry, I'm distracted.
The one that when I was at my house the other day, we were plugging.
You can chat with Manus?
Manus has the I don't know if you can chat with Manus, can you?
I saw it in your Telegram. I guess that's a Telegram channel for Manus. Never mind. Sorry. I guess I got to get fucking Telegram now too.
Here's a new cool tool most you probably don't know about yet. It's called Blitz API. And this is scraping the LinkedIn data. Brad, tell them about this. I just showed Brad this morning.
Yeah, we were checking this out, and we use Clay a lot, and it really kind of irks me sometimes because you have to do these waterfalls and go out to all these data providers, and costs you a ton of credits. They're doing this, and we haven't tried it out yet, but from what it looks like, they're providing the data. They have unlimited plans, and they just give you the phone number and the email without all the rigmarole.
Right here, $5.99, 40 million emails, or 40 million mobile phone. We'll test that out. Thomas, are you on Varga?
Yeah, I'm here.
You see this one before?
Ripper? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Serper different than Serp API? Yeah, it is.
And then also Centron. Just looking at these, right? I don't even know if you need them anymore. Brad, you want to pull up your terminal? Guys, Brad had me working in a terminal like I was a complete tech nerd, and I loved it.
What was it? Serpian? What was the other one?
I'll put them in the chat. The first one?
I got the first one. I already signed up for that one.
Serper.dev. You got
Serper.dev. And then the last one.
Sentient.ai.
Sentient. Sentient?
Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Got
This
it.
is the one that I'm really pumped about trying right here. And I'm just going to feed it to the bot and say, go. Brad, you want to pull up your screen?
Yeah, what do you want me to show them?
Show them the call chunking.
Oh, yeah, I've shown that. All right, cool.
Oh, Centrion.
So let's see here. Entire screen. This is kind of what my screens look like nowadays. So apologies for that. Can everyone kind of see, I want to show you guys a tool that we made.
Yeah.
So you guys heard of MCP servers?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of them though.
Okay. So we built one. And what it does is it takes the phone calls we get or that we have with our clients and uses the Fathom tool, which I think a lot of you guys are probably using. And then it hits our server, stores everything in a database, and then we can use Claude to go into the database and look at what we've been saying in our calls. So, what are common pain points I made my own. Discuss. What are common pain points we discuss in our strategy sessions? Check our knowledge bank. So what this is going to do, it recognizes that this is a question that should check our database, and it goes out there and does it. So it sends this request to our knowledge base, common pain points, sales logistics. And then that server will come back with an answer, which is all of our phone calls and discussions we had through Fathom. And then it'll do a follow-on question. And so it keeps doing this until it's satisfied with the answer, and it builds a context to answer the question. So we'll give this a minute to run, and then you can kind of see the results of that. And I'll show you a little bit how the sausage is made if you're interested.
Yeah, show them that piece. This is really cool, especially Tom, what we were talking about for Cluely and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. Like we were showing a CEO of one of our clients yesterday. He was just like, "What the fuck?" And I go, "Yeah." So now your sales team can get ran. So if you get anybody in here that does SaaS roles, you know, like 6 to 9 months.
And this is from a meeting. This is from a meeting on
all of our meetings.
All of our meetings.
All of your meetings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
every
hundreds,
meeting with every meeting you
one
have with a
person?
client is dropped in here.
Yep.
They're
So
fat.
what happened to get you to this point then? Like what was the steps that you did?
Oh, go ahead, Brad. Show them that piece.
Yeah. I'm going to do a follow-up question. Can you tell me who said what? And we'll let it run that, and then I'll show you. So let me start with our database. So I can kind of show you what that looks like. And this gets into some math that you don't really need to understand. Why is this thing not loading? Where is it? My computer's been sluggish all morning. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, how are you pulling in the data from Fathom into the NPC?
Yeah.
server?
So I've created a database for it. And so it's more or less like a big spreadsheet. This will load it up and you can kind of get an idea on how we've structured it. So here's our database of meetings, okay? So we can look at the what calls we've had. So every time we get a call, it triggers an entry into this. So the way that works is that when Fathom records a meeting and sends out the emails to everybody, it can also trigger what's called a webhook. And so that webhook triggers a little script that we have running all the time, and that will ask Fathom for all the information about that meeting. And then it performs some magic on it. So first it stores the call, when it took place, who was in it, and just, you know, the metadata about the call. And from there, it goes back and it asks it, okay, can you give me the contents of that call? So it will get the, I'm trying to remember what tables were here. Yeah, so it pulls the contents of the call and then it runs it through an LLM and asks it for the timestamps in that call of when the subject changed. Okay, so if we're talking 1 minute about how our kids, and the next minute we're talking about, the Acme deal or whatever it might be, it knows when that subject change happens, delivers the timestamp, and creates what's called a chunk. So that chunk is just the conversation about that one topic. Okay, so if you look here, this particular one was Disney World small talk, and we're talking about, how, let's see, how expensive Disney World is.
Sales shit.
Business,
Sales shit. Build rapport.
Build rapport, don't care. So it's marked as small talk. So when we do a search on it, because the AI has already determined this thing as small talk, it's not going to search that record. Okay, but some other stuff, he gets into like talking about his growth marketing, that matter. So that's marked as not small talk. So then what happens next is kind of the technical part. We create what are called embeddings. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but embeddings is what changes the words of the conversation into a big number that represents the meaning. So it's called semantics. So if I'm talking about a dog in a conversation, you don't want to just find information about that when you search for dog. You would want to see if I said hound, puppy, canine, all those things are relevant.
Labrador, any type of breed.
Exactly. All those things are relevant to dogs. So the word dog is obviously the closest, but if I'm talking about terriers, it's close to dog. It's not that close, but it's close. Or lab, that could be a laboratory, or it could be a dog. So that's a little further away, right? But so what this does is it uses some math to create what's called a vector. And we don't need to get into how that works, but just know that it turns it into a number. And then when I ask a question to Claude and it does a search, it turns my search into a vector. And so now you've got two big numbers that the computer can compare very easily using old-fashioned ways, right? What number is close to what number? And so it does that, and then it references the chunks that we have here based on those big numbers. So those big numbers look like just a bunch of garbage like this to us, but the computer cares about this stuff, okay? But it references it to the actual words, and so it'll take those words and give them to the LLM as context. And so once the LLM has that context, it can answer real things about our calls. But it's looking up the things that are semantically close to the conversation I'm having with the bot and the question I'm trying to answer.
Brad?
Yeah.
So basically, if I'm, from my understanding, this is recording the calls. Each one of these lines is one entire call. It's not a broken up call, right?
Each one is a topic within a call.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then,
if you look, it says Chad Smith, and it says false, false, false. They're not small talk. It's three different topics.
That we talked about.
I need a bigger screen, but basically, so then it creates.
Real quick, guys, before you do it, if you touch your screen with your mouse, and I don't know what things you're using, you can make your screen bigger with like the plus sign, and it'll make it. Now you won't be able to see anybody, but you'll be able to see the screen bigger if you guys need to do that.
So this creates a GUID, if you will, but it's a structured GUID that identifies, like when you say canine, there's always the number 321, and anything mentioning canine, there's 321, and then it creates, but that might be a 20 long character thing that has a bunch of 33333 and 2 code characters, and then when you ask,
like 4,000 numbers.
Oh yeah,
to be honest, it's crazy.
But it's some kind of a structure. But each set, and it puts in, let's say, coded computer readable stuff, and then when you ask it the question, it says, "Oh well, I need to find dogs. That's code 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to go look for all the 1 2 3 4 5s." That's how
look for the ones that are close to that.
Yeah.
So
okay, got it.
What this, if I'm going to get really technical, but what this uses is like if you remember back in math class, whenever y'all were in high school, you learned about vectors, and that represents a place in space. So
Brad, we're recruiters. We don't
I
really
know,
any of that
but if you
shit.
think about all right,
Yeah.
link with height, right?
I work here. We didn't
Everything's linked with height, and it's either close to somebody or it's not close to somebody. Well, the computer's using 4,000 dimensions. It's crazy, but it's finding where how those things are close to each other.
So you've got this conversation,
4,000, but yes,
and then,
that's what it does.
then where do you take it from there?
Where do I take it from there? So we wrote a custom MCP server that Claude can use, and it knows how to ask this database questions. So when we start talking about, pain points, then what it does is it goes in here and it creates this question, common pain point sales logistics. So this is converted into one of those vectors or into one of those numbers. And then our little program in the background returns the rows from this this chunks table that I showed you that are relevant to that. So, this first one asks that the burden, that sounds like pain. So those are probably close in that comparison. And so it returns 10 of them, and we could change that, but it gives back 10 answers. It runs them through an LLM in the background to see how close they are. This one's like 9, so it's really close. Definitely talking about pain points. And then it just feeds this whole mess of information into the LLM, like if you were prompt engineering. So this thing, it decided, let me look for something more general. So it did a different search, then it did a different one that wants more information. That the LLM's smart enough to know what it needs to look up. Okay, it's satisfied with what it knows. Now it's going to take that and do its normal summarization thing, like if you were just talking to ChatGPT, and that's what it does. So then if we have follow-on questions on that information, it can do it. So it decided to look back again and see, okay, let's do another search. This one didn't work because it gave the request wrong, but it did 4 more searches. And then it found out, who's talking about what here, and why did they say it for each particular person. So that's
and what else could you do with this? Like one of our private equity clients, what they wanted, because salespeople we do a lot of sales roles here. I know there's a lot of new people on the call. They wanted it from their salesperson's notes right to HubSpot. So they don't even have to go on there and fill out any records or anything. It's automatically in there, and we tag it, hit the pain points. Now the sales managers can go on there and say, here's the pain point problem, adjust their messaging, whatever, and launch a new campaign. So we call it speed to revenue. Most of these clients have no idea, but that's a great use case.
Yeah. And the thing is that same code that chunks this, we can intercept it and do other things with it. So we can inject it into someone's CRM. We can create emails from it. We can do whatever. But once we have that, we can create a call summary. You name it. Any kind of automation, we can grab it and do something with it. The same code that's intercepting it to put it into this database. We've just chosen to have all our calls go right into this database right after we have them.
Yeah.
And so we never have to update anything. It just runs.
Show them the book that we have already on Amazon that we created, but then also you could use this for marketing for yourself, but also the new one that OpenClaw just made for you.
Yeah, I'll show them the OpenClaw ones first, since I already have it open.
You already got it online?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
And I put a link in the chat earlier. So this book, it's a 150-page book, and I set up OpenClaw and I said, your goal is to write a book for me. I want it to be funny. I want it to be about OpenClaw. I want it to be typeset. I want it to be publish ready when I get back from my ski trip with my son. And I published this the day I got back. So it is the book on OpenClaw. It made me laugh out loud at least 5 times. and let me pull up the actual copy of the book so that you can see, just to get an idea of the quality that this came up with.
Books are irrelevant.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
They're like, I said this a year ago, 2 years ago, that books are going to be irrelevant because anybody can be able to do this in like 6 months.
They already can.
They already can, but even simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
but it's
create-
not just that. If you want specific information about a topic, you have it researched for you and you have a bespoke book for you or the exact topic you want to learn about.
Yeah.
So when it comes to nonfiction books, like unless it's directly somebody's experience,
You could do anything. Yeah.
yeah. All right, let me get in here and saying it's not found. It probably wants a password.
Have you connected OpenClaw to your email?
No. I don't need it for
Have
that.
you, Cal?
Definitely thinking about it.
I know, right?
You know, it's
I kind of want to create a new one just to freaking run it.
What are you running OpenClaw with? The top model? What model are you using?
On my first bot, Dean, I got 4.6 Opus. And then I layered in Open Router with Sonnet. Then on this one, I have Chat of Kimmy and
So I'll give you this is the folder where it created this book. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, Dom, I got to the part where I got it all up and running on a hosting server, Linux server, and I gotta play with it from there. Haven't had time.
yeah.
Hey, you got farther than most.
What's that?
I said you got further than most.
Yeah, it was a lot of prompting, man. A lot of prompting. But I
Yeah.
got it up and running. And then I changed the model. But it's a lot of working with the run prompt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you use Claude, Brad, what was that code that we used? Dangerously. No, not Claude. Dangerously bypass.
Dangerously skip permissions.
I tell you, DeepSeek. I use DeepSeek to for all the prompt gathering, and it got me through the whole process.
Yeah. And it can, but security wise, most people are going to fuck it up.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I probably screwed it up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
With APIs and things like that, I don't know how to put the right security levels in there.
That's why I did a test bot and then I let Brad.
My computer's running super slow. And then I'll
Yeah.
share again when I get this open.
That's why I let Brad. I did my own just so I could build it out. Made some cool shit. Then I let Brad help me out on the second one because I'm going to let it loose.
Yeah, well, I put
Securely
all
lock this down.
gates. I put all gates on my APIs anyway, so I really exposure is $100. It's not a big deal.
Right. Same.
So, are you setting up HubSpot for your company too? Because I saw you connected Loxo to it.
We are. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. AK wants it for like content hub marketing and all that.
That gets
Here's
spent.
That
That gets really spendy really quick. HubSpot.
I know the worst part is fucking Cal. I think he's on this call. I said yes before OpenClaw. I give him whatever he needs. Take it. If it's gonna help him. But that was before I even knew OpenClaw. And then let me see. I'm gonna have to switch laptops.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with mine.
I tell you, anybody who's not technical, try the Gobii, GOBII.ai. It's not bad. Quick setup, no technical aptitude needed at all.
Let me switch real quick.
For your computer being slow, if you've been using like Claude Code or Codex, you might want to try killing any running V-test processes because they'll tend to keep running after you let it build, and those slow your computer down like crazy. So
Yeah, I've got 7 terminals open doing that. So
that's probably it. It's my first place I go.
Terminal. Okay. Kill this one.
all right, I finally got this thing open. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hold on.
I think I might be due for a computer restart.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Somebody talk.
I can hear you. Yes.
Good. All right. So, Dean, look at this. It created this in 2 seconds. Dashboard, create content, right here, thought leadership, brand awareness. Because some of the clients that we're setting up the go-to-market stuff for, we tell the salespeople all the time, like, you got to start creating posts, right? And they all say, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. None of them do it. And I'm like, it's so important. You have no idea, but they don't see results right away, so they don't do it.
Like they got
There's
to
nothing on there.
What's that?
We don't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
And what did you say they got to create, Dom?
Posts.
This
Oh,
was
Yeah, we
all-
see
yeah,
Brad's
yeah.
screen. We see Brad's screen.
Oh yeah, take over for me.
Can you stop sharing?
Yeah, just a sec. Okay, I'm not sharing anymore.
Do you see now?
Yes.
Is this your OpenClaw?
OpenClaw made this in 2 seconds. And now I'm going to give this to clients because the salespeople don't want to take the time to do the post. Okay, we'll do it for you. Because like some of the agreements that Brian and I have set up with some of these clients, it's like, yeah, we have a one-time setup fee, a monthly maintenance fee, and then a percentage of every deal. And like, if we're going to come and help you, we want to make sure these deals are getting closed, right? And these people are doing everything we tell them to do.
What
Because
does
we all
brand
know.
awareness do? So you're going to start posting on LinkedIn for them?
No,
Yeah.
they're going to do it. They're going to have their own thing here. Or I could do it from here, have NAN come and grab it and go put it on their thing. Yeah. But I would rather have them do it.
But isn't it going to end up being, no offense, AI slop in the lead gen, or does it really matter simply because they are posting something?
It depends how you set it up in the beginning, but I tell it not to.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, let's be real.
But watch.
But
Let's,
you know, they're gonna see their name every day. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm not out of tokens. I think my Opus 4.6 is. So one of my clients, cybersecurity company too, everybody in the supply chain that does any Department of Defense work by 2028 has to have CMMC 2.0 certification. No ifs, ands, or buts. You cannot touch any government work in 2028 without this certification. So let's say I want to use this post right here, right? But that has that no M dashes that on nothing, right? This one does. Use this post, schedule it for Monday, 12. Save.
And these is hooked up to your LinkedIn?
Done. I don't want to connect LinkedIn yet because I'm too worried about getting
How is
flagged.
that going to post it then?
Well, we don't have NAN coming to take it and grab it.
yeah, and,
push it out.
and LinkedIn has an API for making posts. It's not like sending private messages and invites. They'll let you post them.
But yeah, you could take this, clean it up, put it in your own words, whatever, but it's there for you. So you have no excuse not to make that post.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
like that's like I always tell people all the time, buy something like Sociamonial and just schedule your stuff. This is even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then where's my Telegram bot?
You got to write them. This one writes them for you. This is awesome. And this is you messaging OpenClaw, right?
Yeah. So
Do
just
this for me. Do that for me.
Yeah.
Correct. When I'm gone, and this is my task when I was playing around with, right? I was so super excited about.
So like there's a couple different systems. There's Claude Code, and Codex, which do a good job, and then there's this OpenClaw, which also does a good job. The thing about OpenClaw is it's relentless. It just keeps going. And Claude Code will need you to check in every once in a while.
So Tom, Cal, think about this too, guys. Like what I just thought about this morning is every time we have a job, we post it on our website, right? But let's say we have the intake call with the client. We have our API create that job description based on the transcript plus whatever we want. Now we create a landing page for that specific job that's tied into Loud SEO search, but that LLMs are just constantly searching us. Kind of like what I told you, Tom, about the LLM resources page.
Yeah.
That. Except we have a job for every, I don't know if it's going to make a difference or not yet, but we'll see. But this is what I was talking about. This company's ahead of the game. I just ran into them in Vegas. This right here, you see that? LLM resources.
Hey, Dom, so when I found out about the LLM resources, I did what you said to do and I showed it to you. And then I did some more research on it and there's some other stuff you can add. So I sent more info to my web developer guy, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. And I want to see if he updated it. Hold on. It says that, no, he hasn't updated it. It says in the stuff that I sent him, it said you need to have a schema. I don't know what the fuck that means. And hold on. LLM.
Just jumping back to what you said, Dom. Everybody's got to put their jobs on their website, and also get it matched to the Google Jobs schema. Our active users are up. We had 38,000 people in the last 90 days. We've had 20 purchases of job posts. So people paying us $100 to do a sales call with them.
See, like for us, we don't really post jobs. We just pure headhunt all the roles. But what I was going to do is create just a ton of jobs that we always do, like senior enterprise account executive in SaaS, WMS, and just constantly have them pushed out there, just so we're always being pulled up in the LLM boxes. Yeah.
So back what I was saying, Dom, is said you have to create an LLMS text file, a standardized file that tells AI chatbots what content to access at your site in the root directory. In plain text, UTF-8 serves as a text plate under 10 kilobytes, and then implement a schema markup. Structured data tells AI what type of content each page contains, and added to the head section of relevant pages with a JSON-LD schema. And I didn't do any of that thing that I sent them. So I sent this over to them, asking them to fix that, and if they could. Have you done that with yours?
Not yet. I haven't even been digging into that yet, but I was just going to tell Claudebot, OpenClaw, whatever, to fucking do whatever it's got to do to make sure I get searched first.
Yeah.
Well, look at Thomas.
We could ask Claude Code to do that and do it in one shot. I think.
Yeah.
All right. I asked Claude to fix my computer and it did.
Dom, just going back to the Loxo API. So what are you pushing in now?
I just mapped it to this OpenClaw test bot, but I haven't gave it any skills yet, like crazy skills. Just plugged in a few features, and I slowly want to do it just to see. Then I'm watching to see if anything gets, just constantly testing the system, making sure that shit's not getting leaked out there, and we're not getting.
Can it access the entire Loxo database so I can throw a job posting or a job description and say, hey, compare this to all the candidates in the system?
Yeah. Look at it. I just put the Loxo. It couldn't find it, so I put this in there. Then it mapped the endpoints for me end to end.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. And then came back.
Okay,
was at my
okay,
kid-
so let's
was
start.
at my kid's
from the
birthday
How do
party.
I install this on a computer?
Huh. Safely?
Get,
I have a secondary computer, so I'm not worried about my main
use
computer.
Hostinger. It only costs like $100 to set it up, and it's all virtual. You set up a virtual server.
Brad, we have a couple big clients that they want it set up. Brad's literally buying the Mac Minis and then setting it up for them and shipping them to them. So Brad could do that. Otherwise, you could use like.
I just download the OpenClaw from their OpenClaw page and then start from there.
Yeah, no, there's a PowerShell command you put in, and it runs you through like a startup process.
Brad, why are you choosing the Mac Minis over a VPS private server?
Honestly, just because everyone's talking about it. You can use the Raspberry Pi, honestly. But everybody has this idea in their head that they want a Mac Mini.
Hey, Dean, what's that?
It's a marketing thing more than anything. But yeah, just setting up a VM would be sufficient.
Yeah, and I tell you, I mean, the process is a little clunky, but you have
Dean, what's that website?
You set it right up, Hostinger.
Yeah.
And then you just go through the whole process and set up Linux on it. You got to set up Linux on the server, figure all that out. Once you have that up and running, then you have to download the OpenClaw and go through their whole process. It is a process. It took me like, I don't know, 2.5 days to get it all.
This is like, just click on the hostinger.com. Is that it? Look what they have now.
If you have a computer you don't care about, you can just pull up Claude Co-work right next to it.
It says
time
deploy
before you enter the
OpenClaw in
server.
seconds.
Yeah, they said deploy it quickly when I did it, and it still wasn't quick. But maybe they have a better, within the last few weeks, they came up with a better way to do it.
So the other bit, and you know why you might do a Mac Mini is if you want to run local models. If you don't want to use APIs with OpenAI or Anthropic, you just want to run things like DeepSeek on your own computer. Macs are good for that because the memory, they have unified memory. So what that means is there's not separate GPU memory from your normal RAM. So you can get a lot of memory for running AI models on the machine without buying a $3,000 graphic card. And these VMs, most of them don't come with a GPU. And if they do, they're very expensive. So if you are super like privacy focused and want to run your own internal models, that's why Mac's kind of the way to go.
Yeah, I'm just testing.
I have an older Mac. I don't think it's going to work then.
Probably not.
Dean, our testing is going to go from testing to fuck it, let it go. That's what I'm doing on this one. Just let it go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's got an Amex Platinum just in case. I'll cancel the charge. Reese, what do you got? I know you're into this too. You're on mute.
My bad. I've been yapping a couple times and I'm realizing I was probably on mute the whole time. Anyway, sorry for like my setup specifically, or just like some of the stuff I'm doing with it.
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, I know we've been chatting on LinkedIn, but
yeah, I mean, so for setup, it's relatively basic. I've got a Mac Mini, and then I have it somewhat locked down. Like I don't give it direct access to my email. It has its own email. I gave it its own Twilio phone number. I even like built a voice skill for it so it can just call and talk to people. In terms of some of the stuff I'm using it for, so I'm actually not running a recruiting firm directly right now. I have for the last 7 years, but now I'm building a tech product for recruiting agencies. So my use cases are a little different, but I've built a lot of engineering sub-agents for it. One thing that would probably be relevant to this group for some of the stuff that was being talked about here, specifically or for avoiding that AI slop writing style. So I've done a couple of things. One thing is I had Claude basically generate first just a list of topics about everything that, and this is when I was running my recruiting firm, a list of topics about like every aspect of recruiting. And then I basically interviewed myself so that it has its own knowledge base and everything that I know and the way that I think about the industry and the role. And then from there, what I did is I would use that as essentially the knowledge base. So that's one thing.
That's what we did too yesterday.
And then the other thing is, and this is just recent because I'm going to start kind of at least using it to draft, and I don't know if I'm going to let it fully rip on posts, but I did that same concept, and then I set up a sub agent on my OpenClaw that's essentially like a social media person. And so at first I gave it my knowledge base, and I also scraped a bunch of my own LinkedIn posts and X posts, and I gave it to it, and I said, extract my writing style so that this is how I write. And then to continue fine tuning it, what I do is I have it, this is going on like right now, is I'll have it send drafts in like response or samples of posts, and then I'll edit it, and then I tell it to extract the takeaways from each edit and why I did it. So that's how I'm basically training it to write in my own voice and avoid the slop.
That's awesome. Yeah, we did that. I did that yesterday. We were doing that yesterday. Brad, what were we working on plan mode for yesterday for?
I don't remember.
So it
Too many
sounds like
things,
the use cases that you guys have, how you're employing it right now is kind of making it like a mini admin for, I don't know, marketing content or social content or cleaning out your inbox or drafting responses to emails, doing research, prioritizing things, kind of breaking it down into little subcategories of things that make up a recruiter's day. And that's
Brad, David, let me show you my screen. Let me take over real quick.
Okay.
So I asked chat based on what it did for me, right? Where'd it go? I asked it what type of like how much money did I save myself, right? And how many jobs did it do by doing all this? Like this is what it did. If you were to tell me what job titles is work done by my agent, so I put it in there what the agent did for me. And then look how many roles it basically did. Head of growth, head of go-to-market, marketing automation manager, sales development manager, outbound SDR, talent recruiting roles, director of recruiting, talent intelligence, technical recruiter, solutions architect, automation engineer. So like why I think that's important is like these are the kind of skills companies are going to need. So like you find that talent now, hold on to them. Like, I think that, Reese, what would you say about that? Like, how many companies that we run across, Brad, in our calls, have nobody on the team, have no clue about this? Even some of the CTOs we deal with.
Yep.
They're clueless.
I mean, the vast majority. I mean, so it's funny because as I've been building the product, I've been talking to just a lot of recruiting agency leaders because that's my ICP. And, you know, some of them, like you guys are obviously, everybody on this call is very ahead of the curve. But then the guy I was just talking to like 3 days ago, he's like, yeah, you know, we do everything in Google Sheets and we don't even use Recruiter Flow because it's too much of a hassle. And I'm like, okay. So, anybody who
it's hard to explain it to them, right? In the beginning, like to show them what you can do.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of recruiters here. Like, what do you guys need that Reese could build out or we could build out like to help it? David, like, what do you need the most right now? Sourcing?
Yeah, most of the time what I do is a combination of research, deep research, slicing and dicing in a variety of different ways to kind of extract useful nuggets from, and then from there build upon sourcing strategies to then go after the talent. So I would say like if there's any kind of so analysis, interpretation of some of the research and whatnot that it does, building upon it, basically like a solution architect, like you said, extracting some of the nuggets that you can then go after, and then, you know, finding the people, of course, or mapping it out, or, you know, making suggestions on what to do next. That saves you time from having to do the work, and you can just jump in and, you know, use what was built. and execute on it.
Hey Dominic, Roderick Hedden here. Thanks for hosting, man. I've never been on this before. From my standpoint, sourcing for sure. I mean, I don't think from a biz dev standpoint, I mean, very fortunate to be where we're at. It's just a matter of aggregating and saving time on sourcing, because getting those 20-minute recruiter calls are key. But trying to aggregate all that sourcing data to meaningful candidates that hit, that's the time suck.
Right. That's why I built this for myself, because that's the time suck. Like, we have too many jobs open. It's like AK's getting frustrated. Like,
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, that's a piece of why I built it for myself, and Brad helping me too on other stuff. And then we got a Lazio partners, this company.
Yeah, you're hitting on a need. You're hitting on friction for sure.
Big time. Because I know it's my own need, right? So like, I know if other recruiters are that busy, that's got to be their need right now, right?
100%.
Well, what's interesting is if you look at like the job postings, there's a massive increase in sourcing openings now that are starting to come about, and hasn't been that way for like the last 3 years. As this is my bread and butter, first full life cycle recruiter first and foremost, but doing research and lots of deep sourcing, it's definitely, you've been scraping by with short-term consulting engagements and whatnot. But yeah, there's definitely a huge volume again of this need. But with AI, it's going to help make it a lot easier, so you can get to the people that you ultimately screen and then qualify and then get them into the process. That's I think the biggest pain point for everybody, because it's with so much information, like even all the investment in AI, that the companies don't know how to use it. So you need to the interpretation piece and the ability to make sense of it and be an advisor and make the data useful and wisdom based, I think is really where the value add is. So if you can use I don't want to say the KISS method, but if you can, build it out where there's the KISS method for the different TA functions and whatnot, and for your client needs, I think that's where ultimately it's going to generate the most ROI for you.
Yeah, and to me, I think risk management's the big thing, right? Because the system works right now. It's productive. We're doing very well, but I don't want to throw a slice of metal into the engine and have it blow up, right? Like that's my biggest, I guess, because I'm using it quite a bit, in sort of manual ways where you're putting into another platform and exchanging things. I haven't really released anything, inter-system per se, because I'm just nervous about, the risk side of it.
Yeah. Roderick, what I would think too is maybe, get a different Mac Mini, run OpenClaw, export your entire data. How many candidates do you have in your database?
Oh, I would probably say we're at 15,000 or so.
I would say export it all, throw it in there.
Okay.
But keep your system separate, right?
Yep.
And just see how it plays out for you. See what it does.
I was going to say, and this is another topic, Dominic, but do you like Loxo in terms of your nimbleness with it? And, because I'm looking at switching ATS systems right now.
It's good, but I don't even know if we're going to need it here in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling them, do not get locked down. There's another one, I was talking to Rich Rosen yesterday. He's like, I got to switch. I got in a fight with Crelate, blah, blah, blah. He's like,
he turned his contract yesterday.
Yeah, I know. He told me.
So he's gonna be like a LeBron James in the recruiting agency. Where's Rich gonna go? Oh, wait a minute! Hey, wait a minute! We should do that. Where's Rich going? Let's post it. Let's do that on LinkedIn.
Well, he switches every day. Every day I talk to him. He calls me. He's like, Dom, which one should I do? I go, I don't know. Tell me your workflow, and then I'll help you.
Yeah, Roderick, I'd go with something that if you ever want to talk, let me know. I did an evaluation with my old company before I left. I just picked up Jarvie myself. I'm pretty happy with it. We can talk about that more later. I'm kind of in your boat to a degree. I'm restarting my agency. These guys have been very, very helpful. I've been doing a lot of manual work. I'm really starting to get into the research side of it. But to David Marr's point, I read an article yesterday, and I don't know if it's true, but there's a lot of recruiting and I've heard sourcing job postings that are fake, and some of them are even so fake they're saying this is basically not really a job. Maybe you're going to get a job, but we're using this to train our AI. So
but
Roderick,
A lot of noise out there. A lot of noise,
Hey,
especially
Roderick.
on the application side too. I work with a health tech company here in the Twin Cities, and they're exclusively using me because they've had so much noise on role applications, and we filled a couple go-to-market folks really quickly, filled a GM of a division, and they're just, you know, like, it's not worth it for us. And they've got 3 people on their talent function. They're just, you know, we're PE. I've got a 3 to 5 year hold. We got to grow. It's worth it. Like there's a lot more noise out there. But Alan, I'll reach out to you on LinkedIn to connect. I appreciate that.
No, it's funny.
offer.
It's funny because to your point, I got called by Tommy and we're in commercial construction. I got called by a friend at a national yesterday, an executive. He's like, "Hey, let's have lunch." I'm like, "Why?" "Well, you know, you were talking with our general super. He wants to use you." I'm like, I said, "Dude, you have 46 TA people in your company. Why are you talking? I mean, I'm doing a sales thing. Why do you want to talk to me?" I mean, but what I've noticed is the process has gotten so effed up, especially on the front end of the process, that our profession just keeps getting more and more valuable. But you really need to find, like Dom, and I'm sure most all of us do, find the relationships, because they're saying the good relationships that you find, it will pay you, we understand, we'll work with you, we'll do this and that. I got called and met with another national general contractor a couple days ago, and he's like, "Well, you know, Ellen, we just hired Roderick, and he's giving us an annual, we're paying him," I'm serious, "I'm paying him, you know, $250,000 for 2 years. But the deal is, it's like for 20 hires, it's like I'm paying this, let's say I'm paying 15 grand aggregated for the first 10 hires. After that, I get a break." How do you get what do you think, you deserve a break after that? And he goes, "And then after that, there's a bonus kicker that goes up." And I'm like, okay. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, okay, if we're talking about an average of 200K, the fee is this, why would I give it to you? And then I said, "By the way, when you signed with Roderick, did you get first right of refusal? Exclusive right of first refusal on every candidate?" He goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "You're my backup now, okay? I'm giving everybody at 25 and 30% Bob Smith before I give them to you."
Oh, there's a fundamental flaw in recruiting, Alan, and it's you know, I'm kind of a traditional business builder, and I built commercial teams, operating teams, and the whole philosophy was I couldn't get what I wanted from my executive search partner, so I did it myself. And then after some divestiture, that's when I did this, right? So it's kind of a combo firm, a little bit management consulting, some executive search. But long story short, I think the talent teams at times are not supposed to come from HR, but come from other lines of business, right? Because they understand the functions of them. And at the end of the day, that's one of my rubs, because I won't work with certain clients because their talent teams are just completely out of scope for understanding the role, the responsibilities, who qualifies, and I'm not going to waste time. So,
dude, I agree with you. When I was at my old company, Internal, for 9 years, for over half the time, I reported to the president, and I told him when he hired me, "I don't want to report to HR. You don't have HR, so I don't want to report to. And as soon as I put in the first HR person, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be gone in a year and a half, because sooner or later I'm going to have to report into HR. It's going to be a traditional matrix, and it's going to get fucked." And in the last 7 months, they've had to hire 2 people to replace me, and I'm still getting called by my old company saying, "Hey, can you help us with this?" And I'm like, "You're not going to sign an agreement." So, yeah, I get it. We'll talk later. I'm sorry for keeping everybody's time. I got too much coffee in me.
You're good. They might now. We had a recruiter that I feel bad at ever putting them out of a job, but when I'm recruiting sales roles and I send you a President's Club candidate and you tell me, "Is this person in sales?"
Yeah.
It's time to get you out of the way. I got to go right to the CEO. Like,
I got
there's
a
no
few
way.
stories,
Interested
Dominic.
in Loxo. Was that you, Rod?
I'm interested in ATS recommendations that
Yeah,
will
so
allow, obviously.
I can give a better demo
You should listen
on
to Tommy
Loxo
on
than their
Loxo.
best demo person. I've been
Okay.
using it for 9 years, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We can sit and talk. I can give you all the negatives and positives. I love it.
Okay.
Right? And I've tested Stardex. I've talked to Jarvie. I've tested Spot. I've tested
Okay.
CRM, Recruit PM, all of them. So I've done them all.
I appreciate everyone for the support, and obviously Dominic too. Thank you so much for hosting this.
We do this every week. We do this every week, and then
Hey, guys,
Tom
everybody-
on Friday.
There's a lot of us not all connected in here. Drop your LinkedIn's in the chats.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then Dominic, I'll reach out to you direct too. I'd like to have a convo just to make an intro too.
Absolutely.
So Dom, when are you going to connect it to Google OpenClaw? When are you going to be confident enough?
To my Gmail, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I want drafting, like as soon as the lead comes in, I want drafting, I want doing research on the client, finding out who the key decision maker is.
Cal, hold on. I already got that. You don't even need to wait. Without OpenClaw, I got that.
I would say one thing to lock it down a little bit more is you can make it its own email and set up auto forwarding for every email you get to that email. So if the email comes in, it gets it. It still does all the research and could even give you a draft, but there's no risk of it, like, because it does fuck up. It'll be like, oh my bad, I didn't mean to do that, and then I sent it, and like it will do stuff like that.
Couldn't you connect it to the API, the Gmail API, and just have it draft things for you?
Or that too.
Like not send.
Remember a couple weeks ago when I was in Vegas, I told you I was sitting next to that private equity guy company, and sales leader was showing me what they have, Thomas, and this can replace Clay. I still haven't had a chance to edit the video, but guys, it's right in front of our fucking face, and just use the Chrome browser with Gemini. Just type that in. I can't give you this yet because I'll show you the text. He says here, obviously,
okay.
And then he called me. He's like, do not share that. I'm like, you'd be surprised, Jonathan. Most of us recruiters already know this shit, but that I didn't know.
What, connecting Chrome to Gemini? What are you doing with it? By the way, there's an AI podcast. I'll find the name of it. He actually talks about. I think he talks about. Is it a newer functionality, Dom?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, what's new? Like last week?
Oh, a couple weeks.
In today's world, you know.
Yeah. Look up. It's called Everyday AI. And I think it's episode 706. He talks about, I can't see it, Dom.
I know I'm trying to share without their clients.
Tom's still holding his phone up to the camera. Guy's the most technical guy on the thing, and he thinks his camera's going to see it.
No, I'm not that. Brad's the most technical guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Probably Reese too. Because I'll get too excited and I'll be like, Brad, can I do this? He'll be like, slow down. You can't do that. He'll be like, let me set it up for you. I'm coming to your office.
Reminds you of your wedding night, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even before that, the engagement. Fuck.
What would you, Dom, hypothetically speaking, what would you suggest we do with Chrome and Gemini if we were talking hypothetically?
Hold on, let me re-listen to this part.
So I hadn't done this before we did this. So what we did was click on 4 people, open up Gemini, give it access to these 4 people's tabs. I'm going to just copy the prompt we gave it. But the prompt was, there we go, write follow-up emails to these people based on past transactions, what we do and how that correlates to them. Pasted. You could do this. It does up to 10 tasks or 10 tabs at a time. And then we had Kurt go ahead and validate these emails. But what it was able to pull was who from our side was going to send it, who was to, the subject, and how we work with them based on previous engagements, because the glyphic notes are inside of the HubSpot contact. So we'll use Jonathan, for example, because that's the one showing. What Glyphic did was read all of the emails and all of the notes for every call we had, because those are inside of the contact level. It then, without us asking it to, went to the websites for these companies and referenced how they're doing work.
It's so cool.
Above, some of them, but above it went even deeper on the first prompt and listed out links to problems and work that they're doing on an organizational level that neither Kurt nor I knew,
No idea.
but it's highlighting specific things about their organization aligned with Gnosis. And for context, again, we have not told Gemini what Gnosis does in the first place. It's also going and finding Gnosis's information and piecing this together. That's all.
It's so cool.
Crazy.
So
That is absolutely
that
How do
is
you give
a.
Gemini access to your tabs?
That's why I got to edit the video, because this is a Vista Equity, one of my Vista Equity company, and I am not gonna fuck around and try to get sued by them. You know, they are giants.
Comet does that. You can group
Yeah,
it.
Comet does it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering
You have
how
to set up
Gemini
an
does it.
FTC server on your machine, and then it can access all that.
I mean, there's browser extensions, there's Playwright. I mean, there's tools for browser,
Yeah.
control browsers.
So actually, the new Sonnet 4.6 model has essentially like human level web browsing capability. It's extremely good. Like even just the difference between like 3 days ago and yesterday is noticeable. So like I use
That's
that.
from the Claude,
What is
from the
that again?
Claude website. You have to do it from the Claude website.
No, I mean, so what I did is because I have my app that I'm working on, and so I went through and you know, you set up automated testing, but you also need to just manually test, which is a huge pain in the ass because there's a lot of surface area. So what I did is I told mine, I was like, hey, go map every surface of my app and put it into a large file. And then I set up a group of sub agents that basically went through and clicked every single thing and was like, this broke, this didn't, this is good. And then it set up and again, it's just for engineering, but then it set up, it creates an issue in linear. And then the heartbeat checks every 30 minutes to see what's in linear. It goes back, it fixes the thing, it pushes a PR. So I woke up overnight to like 20 pull requests just waiting to get marked.
No way. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's awesome, Reese. Yeah. Did you listen to that podcast with Lex Friedman and Peter?
I did not know.
So listen to that one about the pull requests. Here, I'll pull it up and send it to you. You guys know the guy that created OpenClaw just got acquired by OpenAI for
Yeah,
$1 billion, I think.
Yeah, I saw that.
Here's the I mean, I would send this video to everybody that you know, like, because this is the world that we're walking into.
Yeah, I just asked Gemini to access my OpenLoxo tabs, and it's like, no, I can't jump into your open browser tabs, even if they're active on your screen right now. As an AI, I don't have access to your local system browsers, to your live session data for security and privacy reasons.
Use Claude then. Claude has no shame.
Hold on, Tom. Hold on.
Well, no, Comet will do it. I can do it with Comet.
Yeah, but even what I would do there is like pull up pull work right next to you, paste that in there, and be like, all right, how do I fix it? Because a lot of people ask me, it's like, I don't have time to explain it, but it's right there. Just throw it in. That thing's smarter than all of us combined.
Yeah.
Wait, Reese, what do you got anything you want to show? Like, I think it's cool what you're building.
No, yeah, I mean, it's funny. So the stuff that I've been setting up for the last couple months, it's I'll be able to probably show it more in more detail next week, because it's actually ripping as we speak on kind of the final components. But basically, what I'm building is it's a tool that is designed to help recruiters convert more pipeline at the middle of the funnel. So essentially, there's a lot of tools right now that are focused on sourcing, which just, between everyone here is not an area that I wanted to compete on, but this will play into it. So I know everybody has their note takers right now, but generally the notes are not that valuable. And like, Brad, what you were showing in terms of like the semantic search, like that's when the notes actually get valuable, is when you can extract the information out of them. So essentially what this system does is it will take all the notes on all the conversations you have with your clients, your candidates, and it's not just interviews, it's your kickoff calls, it's your candidate syncs, preps, etc. It is designed to make your life as easy as possible, in terms of, well, there's a couple, and I still have to work on the elevator pitch for this, but I'll just go through what some of the features are. So for one thing, it will look on every morning and it will look at all of your calendar events and it will say, hey, I see you have a kickoff call with so-and-so today. I've already researched the web. Here's a search briefing for them. Here's everything you need to know going into the call. After the call, it will read your transcript. It will put together a full search brief for you in terms of how to structure your search, types of candidates, etc. It will, what it's building as we speak is it will look through all the candidates in your database and it will design essentially it'll look through and give you all of your best fit matches of the candidates in your pool already, not just on resume searches, but because it has access to all the information, it's going to match by comp level, it's going to match by seniority, location, everything that you need to think about. We also extract the insights on the personalities of people you meet with, so it will get as granular as these work styles are very different. We think that may be a flag, but here you go. I've already created the submittal for you if you want to go ahead and send it to your client. It will also, after you meet a candidate, it will look at all of your open jobs and say, hey, I know you talked to this candidate about this position that's open. However, I also looked at all the rest of your open roles. We think that this is a good fit for this and this and this role. Do you want me to go ahead and create submittals for you? It also creates candidate briefs. So basically it's world-class hyper-personalized prep on all the interviews that they're going to. So it takes all the information you have about the company, all the information you have about the contact, all the information that we know on this candidate, so their own working style, their resume, et cetera, and it puts together a personalized brief for that candidate. And the big unlock as well is that the note taker, with your client's permission, will actually sit in on the client's interviews. So they can opt out of it. They get a nice branded experience. There's a landing page where, it says, hey, the note taker will join, and it will show up as, your firm's note taker. And then after the fact, you'll get a full debrief afterwards of what was actually discussed, the follow-up items, extract personalized candidate coaching, a debrief playbook on how to approach it with the client, and it's all stage aware as well. So it'll know if it's first screen, technical, final round interview, et cetera. So yeah, that's the product in a nutshell.
It's cool. That's awesome. Good for you.
And I think the next unlock as well is, on the sourcing side is, if I can build integrations with sourcing platforms, it'll go from, hey, I just got off the kickoff call. I've integrated, I've already created the campaign for you in Pin. Here's an initial short list of people you may want to look at. Go ahead and, hit send on the campaign. So that's the next step.
I like that. Reese, I was thinking about this a while ago. And I told Brad, as I'm on a call in real time and that transcript's coming through, automatically populate the top 5-10 candidates for that role that hiring manager is telling me that they need.
That's actually a great idea, and it would be possible because the program that I use right now, it does after the fact, but it does have the ability for real-time streaming. So it would just be a matter of turning on the real-time streaming and then starting the analysis while the call is running, as opposed to doing it after the fact. So that actually would be possible.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I was to try to build that myself, but
yeah, I got all
stuff to do.
For it. It's ready to go. So actually, that's
Potentially do that with that MCP server we built too, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing as well is I've been trying to figure out how tech forward to make this platform, because it's one of those things that like this group would use, but actually create an MCP server for it or let your agents access all the information directly. I will build it. I don't know how many recruiters will take advantage of it to start, but I know this group would.
Yeah. Honestly, like the MCP part of it, it took 5 minutes to spin it off.
Was it that easy? Okay.
It was that easy.
I haven't looked into it yet.
Did the client side part? It was all the database and structuring the chunking and all that.
That's it.
It was hard. Okay. The MCP server was like a snap. It was super easy.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
Cool. Jamie, what do you got?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you?
No, I appreciate you inviting me to this. I was just gonna check it. I mean, I messaged you about like how to get OpenClaw set up. I'm like, I've been watching ever since like the launch, and it just went absolutely mega viral. And I'm just like, cautiously waiting to just jump in and let it rip. But I appreciate you guys kind of sharing what you're working on. I got ideas cruising, and I got a buddy that I'm meeting up with in Austin next week that we're gonna go hack on this big time.
There you go. Yeah, we have Tom's call tomorrow. So same link every week if you want to save it.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Bounce ideas back and forth. What's working, what's not.
Yeah, I'll echo the other guys. Like sourcing is like BD's going great, which is cool. People want to hire great people. I'm like early stage tech is like where I stay focused. And like, you know, I've got people on my team who help source, but I want to just like, the reason I started this company is like, I think the way we all think, like I want my team of 3 people to do the work of 30, right? Like that's where this is going.
Yes, quickly. Yeah. Thomas, what do you got? I know you're always up to something.
Oh, nothing. I was just kind of waiting on you to share that nice little tool you were telling me about in replace of clay, but looks like I'll have to wait for a while on that. But other than that,
I'll text.
hammering away.
I'll text it to you. I'll edit the video today. I've just been building away over here.
That's fine.
But did you check out Blitz API?
Which one?
Blitz?
Yeah, I looked at that last week.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So we'll see. But for that price, $5.99. You said one of my clients paid for it. Tell them that we need it, and I'll test it.
We'll use it. We'll straight use it. Like,
Yeah. What other tools have you seen, Thomas, that you like lately?
Gonna be looking at OpenClaw a little bit more. It sounds very interesting, so I'm gonna check that one out. Thanks, guys, for that. Then I checked out Claude Coworker. I think I'm gonna hang off on that one for a while. I think they're still working on some bugs on that one. So
I love it. I've been using it for a while.
yeah.
I absolutely love it. Which is crazy because I have a subscription to all of them, plus the APIs. I don't know, but Jordan was showing me Manus last week. And just like you said, Reese, like 3 days ago, it was like this. And then now it's like this.
So much better.
Really? I haven't tried it. Yeah, that'll be another thing on the list.
Yeah, even for just like building a website. But now they have, let me pull it up.
Well, that's why I was asking, like, is it, what's different compared, like, how Manus runs? It looks like OpenClaw is like having Manus on your computer. Is that right?
Yeah, let me send you this video to explain it better. Let me see.
Tom, basically you get to run agents
24/7
full time.
Yeah,
where
but
Manus is going to use up because they're going to be sending things to their server, and they're going to be charging you more in the end, right? And you're only using. So I think Manus is owned by Meta now.
Meta.
Meta, yeah.
But they're going to be using their models where you can switch out models in OpenClaw. You can have memory. Like there's a lot of advantages of having OpenClaw, but you got to manage it.
About OpenClaw seems amazing. It just does. Like I was trying to wrap my head around what it does, and now I've downloaded Telegram. I have WhatsApp. All the API. I have API keys for everything. So, you know, Claude and chat and everything. So I'm like, okay, how do I start building this? So,
oh, here we go. This is what I was sending this to a buddy that is clueless on AI right now, right?
But simply put, it's just Claude with hands that doesn't take breaks.
1 second. Sorry.
Hands that doesn't take breaks. But Claude Cowork already exists. So what's the difference? Well, Coworks lives in your browser and is private, but ClaudeBot is open source and lives where you are. You're partying. You send it a message through WhatsApp, build me a to-do app, and your computer at home wakes up, opens the tools, writes the code, hits an errand, fixes it, pushes to GitHub, and sends you the link. Now, the biggest game changer is unlimited memory. You mentioned once that you send newsletters every Friday. Next Friday, it drafts one like an actual employee. But the craziest part of all is it can build its own tools. Like someone asked their ClaudeBot, can you access my university course schedule? ClaudeBot said no, but I can build a skill to do that. And it did. The reason this is so exciting is because AI agents were mostly demos and hype till now. Claudebot could genuinely be the moment they become real employees. Suddenly, AI can actually do things while you sleep.
So we can actually ask it to do stuff. We could say, build this for me.
Oh
yeah,
that's
how I showed you in my Telegram. Like that's what I was doing. Like I went to my kid's birthday party. I came back and I had everything mapped out.
Dude, it wrote a book for me over the weekend.
So what you could do is, if you're having trouble thinking of things for it to do, is just basically dump a bunch of information about yourself and your business and how you operate and the systems you use and so on and so forth, and then just say like, all right, now based on what I just told you, think of the top 10 best use cases on what you can do for me.
That's exactly what I did, Reese. And I said, find me the fastest way to make more money, and then create new products or solutions to make even more money. And I gave the big master prop up front. And it knew it's crazy how much, what's scary, because I listened to this podcast too, because it was like, I don't know, soul.md, right? Like it's got, what's consciousness, right? Like I'm Catholic, so it's like, fuck, that's scary. Scary topic.
But it doesn't matter. As an ex-Catholic, all we have to do is ask for forgiveness, and we're good.
At
the end of the day,
hope
we're
so.
not going to hell. We're just going to purgatory, so we're good.
No. Purgatory doesn't exist anymore. Hell really kind of went away, and we're all recovering Catholics. Come on.
Yeah. Wow.
I was an Episcopal for a while, which is like Catholic, but light, like same religion, half the guilt, and the priest can get married.
Yeah. Well, he talks about it in here. Like that's why he created it too. In that Lex Friedman podcast.
Yeah.
I've listened to it 3 times. Like that's how freaking good it is. And I'll post it again there.
Oh.
I mean, this guy was not offered billions by, like, think about this. If you're on WhatsApp, Zuckerberg messages you, and the guy says, no, I don't do calendar schedules. He goes, all right, hold on, I'm coding up to call you in 10. That's Zuck reaching out to this guy. He was onto something big. But like that's just the start. Like what else is going to come of this now? Like all the creative people that now have access to this, watch. I think the whole business landscape is going to change, in my opinion. Look at this thought. Look at the tech stocks. Just tank it, right? Watch.
Yeah, I know. I can't get a handle on what the tech stocks are doing right now because I think people don't know what direction stuff's going to go. It keeps changing.
Exactly.
Like everybody just kept saying that OpenAI is going to go out of business, and then you just fucking spend $1 billion on OpenClaw, right? Like, I have
This is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see a year where it takes off. It goes crazy. You're going to see it come back down a bit. A lot of people are going to fail, just like at every trade show, right? It manifests. All thousands of companies, right? How many are going to be around in a year? Probably 85% will fail.
It's like the .coms too. I mean, you had everybody was building shit, and then you're building cars.com and stuff that was useful, and then you've got Tom Vargas doing, I'm building dogfood.com. I'm going to lose $1. I'm going to lose 5 cents a unit, but I'm going to make it up on volume. But as long as I get to 100 employees, I can go public or get bought out, and it's their problem now. And then, then you're going to have what is in demand, what fills the need. What do we really want? Not just us, but what does society, what does the greater market really want? And I think the nice thing right now is even if the market's going to correct, it's not going to be like 2008 where we're going to have a long gully to get through. I think it's going to come back a lot stronger. But I think we're fucked. I think we're fucked for the next 7 months. No, I just look. I don't care what side of the aisle anybody's on. I think the Fed and the market and the economy like nice, predictable, boring situations. That's what they like. That's it. Of course. Your parents could be cheating on each other, but as long as the kids don't know shit,
everything's happy.
Everything's happy. But right now we see the kids cheating, the parents pulling screwed up bank jobs, and nobody's busting them for it. All we want is let's get rates, let's get predictability back. I don't care who does it. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna.
And look, I've said this a million times. Like we don't have enough employees, right?
Right.
Between COVID, between all the retirees that are retiring because of the large spots of baby boomers, and the current situation with the not have enough employees. End of fucking story. We're never going to have an 8% unemployment rate unless Will Smith's iBot comes to be part of our culture, and robots can do everything, which I'll be dead and gone before that.
I mean,
one of my buddies that owns a successful construction company here in Michigan, he goes, Dom, what should my kid do? I go, listen, teach him business and then have him go do a skilled trade. Like, I guarantee you HVAC and electricians are going to make a killing, $400,000 a year plus.
what he wants to do is get into HVAC, plumbing, or glazing.
What is
glass
it?
And glazing? Yeah, glass and glazing.
Glazing.
What is it?
Because
glass and glazing.
Big glass. Because
curtain walls, high-end glass, the stuff like you see all glass building. That's not just some glass guys. That's glass. That's high-end.
Only if he's short, not afraid of heights.
No. Well, yeah, but that's fine. But you know what? What I hear when I talk to people in Southern California is a lot of these execs I talk to, they're like, shit, if I could do it over again, I'd get into one of these three, and I'd fucking have my own little thing. There's no glazers. We can't find glazing companies to either build a skyscraper or repair the glass that's there. Plumbers, okay, you go to plumbing, you do commercial plumbing, and then after 5-7 years, you go off on your own, you do some commercial work, and you've got 100 homeowners. They got you on speed dial. You go, and what was the third one? I said plumbing. I said, what was the other one, Dom? What you told your kid?
You guys are gonna think this is
okay.
HVAC. You think it's just crazy? My farrier made 300. Farrier is a horseshoer for horses. He made 300 grand last year.
Okay, here's one.
He graduated from Rutgers with a undergrad to get his veterinarian. Decided to be a horseshoer. Went through the horseshoe